The notion that scientists blaspheme God with their supposed science is a perspective that has been debated for centuries. This idea is often rooted in a belief that scientific inquiry and the pursuit of knowledge are somehow in conflict with religious or spiritual principles. However, this viewpoint is based on a fundamental misunderstanding of the nature of science and its relationship to faith. Science is simply a method of observing, measuring, and explaining the natural world, and it does not inherently imply a rejection of God or spirituality. In fact, many scientists are deeply religious or spiritual, and they see their work as a way to understand and appreciate the complexity and beauty of God's creation. The scientific method is a tool that allows us to study the world around us, to identify patterns and relationships, and to develop theories and models that help us make sense of the data. This process is not inherently anti-theistic, and it can actually lead to a deeper appreciation and understanding of the natural world. One of the main areas of conflict between science and religion is the concept of evolution. The theory of evolution, which states that all living organisms share a common ancestor and have evolved over time through a process of natural selection, is often seen as being in conflict with the biblical account of creation. However, this conflict is not necessarily inherent, and many scientists and theologians have argued that evolution and faith are not mutually exclusive. In fact, some have suggested that the process of evolution is a testament to the ingenuity and creativity of God, who has designed a system that allows for the incredible diversity of life on Earth. Another area of conflict is the concept of the origin of the universe. The Big Bang Theory, which suggests that the universe began as a singularity and expanded rapidly around 13.8 billion years ago, is often seen as being in conflict with the biblical account of creation. However, this theory does not necessarily imply a rejection of God, and many scientists and theologians have argued that the Big Bang is actually consistent with the idea of a creator. The notion that the universe had a beginning, and that it is governed by a set of physical laws, is actually a testament to the idea that the universe is a rational and orderly system, which is a fundamental aspect of many religious traditions. Despite these areas of conflict, many scientists are deeply committed to their faith, and they see their work as a way to serve God and to contribute to the greater good. The idea that scientists are somehow blaspheming God with their work is a simplistic and misguided notion that fails to appreciate the complexity and nuance of the relationship between science and faith. Science and faith are not mutually exclusive, and many scientists have found ways to reconcile the scientific inquiry with their spiritual beliefs. In fact, many of the greatest scientists in history have been deeply religious or spiritual, and they have seen their work as a way to understand and appreciate the beauty and complexity of God's creation. Isaac Newton, for example, was a devout Christian who saw his work on physics and mathematics as a way to understand the workings of the universe and to glorify God. Similarly, Galileo Galilei was a devout Catholic who saw his work on astronomy as a way to understand the beauty and wonder of God's creation. In conclusion, the notion that scientists blaspheme God with their supposed science is a misguided and simplistic idea that fails to appreciate the complexity and nuance of the relationship between science and faith. Science is simply a method of observing, measuring, and explaining the natural world, and it does not inherently imply a rejection of God or spirituality. Many scientists are deeply committed to their faith, and they see their work as a way to serve God and to contribute to the greater good. By reconciling scientific inquiry with spiritual beliefs, we can gain a deeper understanding of the world around us and appreciate the beauty and complexity of God's creation.